Well, it's weekend again. We've done loads and loads of things this week, like cutting back all those peppers and sowing lots more seeds for this container greenhouse. But we sowed a few a week ago, and surprisingly, lots of them are already up, which is brilliant news because it basically means that it's not yet too cold for things to just happily germinate outside in this greenhouse. So we're not quite at that stage yet where we need to start moving things indoors if we want to get things to germinate quick as possible. Plus on a Saturday when it's not raining like it were yesterday, which were an absolutely terrible day for rain and thunderstorms, we'd like to go out and see if there's anything that we can harvest as well. So I'll show you a couple of these containers that we've recently sowed and what stage they're actually at now. Well, you remember this one because we only did it a couple of days ago and we put those lettuce plants at the back, and then we overseeded all this area with mixed lettuce leaf, and although it was only a couple of days ago, they're already starting to come up, which is really good news. We finished yesterday cutting back all these peppers to try and encourage maybe some small peppers to grow, but we'll have to see what happens with that. But I did go through yesterday and basically did them all, and these have obviously still got fruit on, which is almost ready but not quite. And then we sowed that mustard as well in this container, and again just a couple of days ago, and that's already on its way. Then next to that we've got the cauliflowers. And what we did with those is put 2 seeds in each cell, just in case one didn't germinate. And because we did that, you can see that everything has got a cauliflower in it, which is brilliant. Obviously those salad planters are doing really well. They're just getting bigger by day. But I have noticed there's a little muncher around somewhere. Something's managing to get into these leaves. So we might have to give that a spray or something. But then we've got this container, which we sowed quite recent as well. And we've put cauliflowers on one side and winter cabbage on other. And they're now just getting to that point where they're ready to prick out and move on. So we might be doing that over the weekend. So basically all those recent sowings that we did are really successful. Everything that we've sowed is now coming through. So we're well on our way to getting some planters made up with some nice vegetables grown through autumn and winter. So I'm just going to grab this tray now, just have a quick look outside, see if there's anything that we can harvest today. As soon as I come out, I've noticed this T-Rex plant. That's a baby one that we propagated, and it's quite small when we put it in this pot, and it's really starting to put some growth on now. Although it looks like a slug has been having fun with it. It was on the ground down there near the mother plant, so I've moved it now onto this bench, try and prevent any more of that damage on these leaves, especially with it being a quite young plant as well. But this is the mother plant, and since we put it in ground, it's just got bigger and bigger. Look at the size of those leaves, massive, and it looks really healthy as well. So quite pleased with that. It's making some really good progress this year, and obviously it's only going to get bigger. And we're going to have to sort out these sunflowers as well. That one has split into multiple sunflowers, which looks amazing. Now the main sunflower is dying back. That happens. And we're going to have to think about covering these sunflowers up now. Maybe get some bags over them, because if we don't, the squirrel will get all the seeds and we'll not get any. Unfortunately, due to that storm we had, really bad winds and torrential rain, it's knocked all these sweet corn plants over, which were growing perfectly fine, but not anymore. So we'll have to harvest what we can off these and see if we've actually got anything. But every one has been snapped, so maybe we can salvage something from them. On the other hand, those tomato plants that we put outside and just left after we tore them apart at ground have now got ripe tomatoes on them, so we'll take those. Before birds see them. Well, to be fair, for tomato plants that we actually threw out, getting all those cherry tomatoes off that have just sat there and ripened by themselves is brilliant. It's a nice little harvest of cherry tomatoes. Not too sure about these though. I think we might have looked out on sweet corn due to that storm. But I have had my eye on these Swedes, because I love a little bit of Swede mixed in with mashed potatoes. So I need to have a look and see if there's any that I can take today. They're not a bad size. Certainly bigger than they were before. But the question is, which is the biggest? Because that's what we want. And I think it's this one actually that we looked at straight away. So I think I'll take that one out. That's not a bad size. So yeah, quite pleased with that. Not really any damage done to it, and it's a good sized Swede, so that's going to be very welcome mixed in with his mashed potatoes this Sunday. We've got a bit of nice kale there, so these look nice size ones. The thing with kale is, the smaller the leaves, the more tender. These ones are quite small, so we'll have some of those. And you always pick the lower ones, let the others grow on a bit. So a nice bit of kale to add to the collection so far this morning. But I have got my eye on something else. This cabbage. It's massive. So I'm going to take that net up and give it a feel. And if it's firm, we'll have that, because there's no damage on it whatsoever. Always a good idea to keep this net on all the way through season. It certainly worked this year. It's not as firm as it could be, but I always worry, because every time I do this, I'll feel it and think just a couple more days, and then something attacks them and ruins them. I think I am just going to leave it a little bit longer, and if we make sure that this net is constantly covering it, we should be alright. But at this stage I am going to be checking that every single day. And it's strawberry bed. Looks like we might have a few. I don't know what it is about me. I always seem to grow strange shaped fruits, like the pepper yesterday that looked like an alien's face, and then we've got a strawberry that looks like a love heart. But it's ready to go, and it's a really good sized one. So was that one. Get them as soon as they're ready, or you'll lose them. One there, not quite ready though. In fact, I am going to take that. It's almost there. Down at the bottom. So look what we got. Another really nice one. That's got to come off. We'll see if there's any down near the container garden area as well. Strawberry tower that we made, got a nice one on it as well. And this strawberry tower that we made out of really cheap plastic containers has been quite a success this year. We've had lots of strawberries off it, and they're still coming. little ones as well. And they just keep putting out these runners from main plant. Basically, plant that in a pot and next year you've got a new strawberry plant. This carrot pot's still doing alright. Still not massive carrots, so I think we'll leave them a bit longer. Just keep them covered up, stop them going green. But this blueberry bush this year has done really well. It's put out all this new growth. But at the beginning of the season, it looked like it weren't going to make it because it got frost damage last winter. But it's a very resilient plant and it has now put out extra growth, so we'll get that repotted next spring. Encourage it to grow even more. Still plenty of peppers on this plant, although they're not ripening, so I think we're going to have to do the strip back on this one as well. Let a bit more light into these plants. And Jack be little, we've got another one growing and a tiny little baby one just there. So this plant's doing fine. In fact, it's doing that fine. I didn't realise it had grown this much. So we'll get that pinned up as well. For now, I can just hook it over that railing. Because that's what you need to watch out for. Powdery mildew. If it gets constantly damp, and I personally will just pull these leaves off. I don't want it spreading any farther than it has done. There's another one there. Just keep your eye out for that. On your cucumbers and squashes as well. And make sure them leaves, don't leave them there, get them bagged and binned, thrown away straight away, because that's airborne and it will spread to your other plants. And we've got another little cucumber growing on this plant. We'll hang that up right at the top like that, and then it's going to grow better and ripen quicker, especially at this time of year. And we have still got quite a few tomatoes on these plants, but I'm not picking any today. I picked loads yesterday and we've actually blended and froze those, so I know there's a few outside as well. So probably midweek I'll come in again and go around all these plants and get every tomato off and then make a batch the sauce up to freeze. And that's the outside pepper plants. Getting good sized peppers on them. It'll be a while before they ripen, but still, for peppers grown outside in the UK, every single plant has got 2 or 3 peppers on it. And its carrots are looking quite good as well. And then we've got the last of his potato plants. These have been in ground a long time, but strangely enough, they haven't grown really tall like all the other plants did and then got blown over with those winds. But they are starting to yellow now. So it won't be long before we dig these up and see what we've got. So to be fair, for a quick walk around, that's not a bad result. We could have took loads and loads of tomatoes today if we'd have wanted to, but we've got a big drawer full in fridge. What we'll do is we'll blend those and then we'll transfer some fresh tomatoes to the fridge, and we'll try and get as many as we can, and then we can make more sauces so none of these tomatoes get wasted. But we got something different today. We've got a nice bunch of kale there. And then of course, that swede. Brilliant. That's going to go down really well this Sunday, mixed in with that mashed potato. And it's a nice looking swede, so we'll just strip it back, cut it into chunks, really small chunks, boil it, and then add it to those mashed potatoes. Now we've got these sweet corns off those plants that the wind basically destroyed during that storm, and I don't think we're going to get anything from these, but we'll have a look. Tear it open. If you look inside, got some really nice sweet corns, but nothing's grown at the top level. We'll try this one. I don't think this is going to be any better, to be honest. And that second sweet corn plant wasn't much better, to be fair. But what do you do when you live in a country where, just like that, there can be a storm, torrential rains, and when you get that kind of a weather, your sweet corn feels the brunt of it before anything else, and that's why they've all been snapped and knocked over. But we did get a nice little harvest of fresh strawberries today, and they're always appreciated, especially when you're getting nice big ones like that. And all those tomatoes that we got as well. Tomatoes from plants that were ripped out of the ground in this greenhouse because we needed the space for his autumn project. But we left all the fruit on those tomato plants that were still green, and as you can see, just by leaving them outside, they will ripen. And then we've took another nice little harvest of tomatoes for free. But when you consider the amount of things that we have grown this year successfully, the amount of harvests that we've took, it's been a pretty amazing year so far. And to see that on top of that, all the sowings that we've done for his autumn winter container greenhouse have germinated in less than a week. So as we finish harvesting all these things over the next couple of months, we've got something to look forward to during autumn and winter. And although any harvests are going to be smaller than what you get through spring and summer, it's still going to be an addition to what we've already got this year, and that's always going to be welcome. And if you're interested in seeing what else we harvest and sow and grow in this greenhouse, then please just hit that subscribe button, press that notifications bell, and we'll see you at next update. You all take care and enjoy your weekend.